Eating and drinking, one of the great pleasures, comforts that we all have a sacred and spiritual quality. We might think of holiday dinners and blessings, but wine and the libations and drinks that we use to celebrate certain occasions have a very interesting mystical and spiritual twist to them. It might have begun 5,000 years ago on the shores of the Mediterranean Sea. Sailors were seeking the favors of the gods before they'd go out into the treacherous oceans. To assure a safe voyage, bottles of colorful and fragrant liquid were poured upon the newly completed ships. The offerings must have been acceptable because the custom of blessing a ship has continued through the ages. Eventually, over the centuries, the Egyptians, Greeks, Romans, Celts, and Vikings always launched a new vessel with a libation. Libation is borrowed from the name of Liber, a classical god, and libation means offering a wine or other drink as a way of asking or expressing gratitude. Libations are poured upon the ground or into the water from a chalice. The gift can be one of oil, holy water, tea, coffee, or whiskey, as well as wine. The term christening was coined in modern times, but the intent is the same. The sea gods are presented with a painstakingly crafted or beautifully selected drink. Old Ironsides, the first modern American warship, was christened with a bottle of the best Madeira. To this day, the United States Navy always selects a bottle of domestic wine to celebrate and bless a ship's maiden voyage. The magic of crushed grapes, what is it? Combined with water, sugar, and yeast to encourage fermentation, provides a beverage that has long been associated with courage, love, joy, even longevity. The role of wine in ritual is one of thanksgiving. It celebrates and honors positive actions. The Roman gods Themis and Bacchus, the Egyptian deities Horus and Osiris, as well as the Greek Dionysus and Mesopotamian Ishtar, are especially associated with offerings of wine. In King Tut's tomb, the residue of a red wine was found, still preserved in sacred jars. I don't think I would have wanted to drink any, though. Who knows if it had a curse on it instead of a blessing. In Rome, in 121 BC, Pliny developed the first classification system to rate wines. Today, the variety of available wines and their presentation has evolved into an incredibly intricate art and science. I think there are even college degrees in it. That'd be an interesting major. A visit to a winery really strikes a divine nerve connection. The earth, the grapes, and the winemakers all weave unique and magical stories. In 1985, in the United States, there were 712 wineries, mostly in California and New York, but now there are 4,000 located in all 50 states in the year 2016. All 5 of the senses, sound, smell, taste, sight, and touch, corresponding to the 5 points of the pentagram, a symbol of life in the human body, are honored by wine. Long ago, the wary would share a bottle of wine with a friend to make sure it hadn't been poisoned first. It's kind of an interesting twist on friendship. And as a symbol of trust, glasses are clicked or touched together, and a blessing is said. The bell-like sound of the toast was thought to drive away evil spirits. Butter, vanilla, grapefruit, and toast are some of the descriptive terms used to identify a wine's bouquet or fragrance. The color varies from deepest red to a rose tone to white, and is admired as the precious liquid trickles down after being swirled in a glass. In Germany, the resulting rivulets were called church windows. In Spain, they were called tears. In the UK and USA, these are known as legs. They are actually a part of wine's complex phenomenon related to the surface tension, evaporation, and alcohol content. Often a true connoisseur claims to be able to judge a wine's value just by looking at those rivulets after swirling the glass and the way that they trickle. That's very interesting, the legs alone. The Latin word vitae for life is the root words of vine, vintage, and vineyard, hinting at a wine's life-giving properties. Wassail, Glag, Sangria, Mulled, these are all various names used around the world for wine, which has been brewed with herbs, spices, sugar, and fruit juices. Served hot, sangria comes from the Spanish word sangre, which means blood. And this illustrates, again, the link between wine and vitality. I've drunk to your health in public, I've drunk to your health at home, I've drunk to your health so darn many times I've nearly ruined my own, is one kind of lighthearted toast, but there's also more serious toast used at, say, bridal showers, christenings, at a holiday season, even at a wake or funeral. A votre santé, to your health, salud. These are some of the more common ones. I don't know which I would use with my little bottles of wine here because they have a very special story behind them. They're dedicated to the memory of a lovely lady named Marie Bartz, who in the Midwest long ago had a tavern called the Green Parrot. And she was a neighbor, and she gave these 3 bottles to my mother and myself and my sister Kelly one Christmas, and then she passed away the next day, and we could never bear to open the little bottles, but have kept them for many, many years. Sometimes wines are collected or collectible. There's some that are centuries old, and that little story I just thought you might enjoy. A recipe for an easy sangria comes from the Caribbean. It involves 1 bottle of sweet red wine, an equal amount of water, a ½ cup of brown sugar, 3 sliced oranges and 1 sliced lemon, 1 teaspoon each of allspice, cloves, nutmeg, and cinnamon sticks. Simmering all these together for 3 hours, strain them and serve either hot or chilled. There's also a libation for you fellow teetotalers. I've got to admit this is actually an iced tea here because I'm not much of a wine drinker. Already crazy, so I don't want to go too crazy. The lemonade is actually a special one that can be brewed as a libation that's just delicious. You take 9 lemons and juice them, and then take 3 cups of sugar and simmer the lemons and the sugar to make a simple syrup. And then you strain the simple syrup into a glass of water, add 3 more glasses of water, stir, and let it sit until it's all completely cold and cool. And then adding some thin slices of lemon or lime or orange to the brew makes a wonderful libation. And so, to your health, and to Marie Bartz, our dear friend, and the Green Parrot Tavern.